right, everybody. Leif Soreide here. Got a real special guest for you. A real treat for swing traders. One of the traders that I'd say is that trades most similarly to me. And we discovered each other sort of via charts on X. And he's been on Champion Team Trading, and we've become good friends. A guy with the cleanest charts of all time. We were going to figure out how he does it. That's the key. We're going to learn something here. It's a story of, grit and determination, and that's really the way I see trading. It's a long game. There's no easy path there. That's the key. So we're going to talk to T.A. Plott. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Hey, Leif. Good talking to you.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you on. We're gonna learn all about your style and your background. Just a little bit about your background to start your trading journey, your influences, how you've stuck with it, your marathon running, and your cancer diagnosis, and how you're just still going for it. And tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, this is going to be a surprise for a lot of our followers. I've never been face revealed
Yeah,
until
this is
now.
a face reveal, right? This is awesome. So I've
Yeah, so
seen it
that's
before. I've seen it before, but this is for everybody else. So,
yeah for everybody else. And and to be honest with you, I think my cancer diagnosis has a lot to do with that. I think you change a lot when you go through things like that. So I thought maybe it's time to kind of just reveal the face and start talking to my followers and people that are trying to do this um, in their journey, early in their journey. So let me just start quickly from who I am and stuff like that. So I've been trading since 2006. I started right before the crash, the housing crash. There is no one in my family that trades. I don't remember exactly why I wanted to get into trading, but I did. And yeah, it was fast paced at that time. The crash happened shortly after. I was a software engineer at the time. I graduated in 2004. 2004. I got into IT around 2005. I have double major in management information system and transportation and logistics. Nothing related to finance or trading. I actually hated accounting and finance in college.
me,
that
me
was
too.
not my favorite topic.
Yeah.
But the funny part,
Until you used it, I didn't get it myself. I would say I got good grades, but I have an MBA in finance, and then
yeah,
finally
and
used it. That's when it hits.
the funny part is when I graduated, I actually was a software engineer using PeopleSoft product, and a lot of the software engineers outside would know what that is. I was a lead PeopleSoft financial developer, so I did a lot of finance development, accounts payable, general ledger, purchasing, billing, stuff like that. So it's hilarious. I went doing software engineering for something that I hate. But then trading has always been part of my passion, you would say. In addition to riding motorcycles, I post a lot on X about riding my motorcycles and stuff like that. But I started trading on the side. It's something I really love. And I kept doing it part-time until today. I moved on from, through the ranks in my career. I right now manage about 150 software engineers. We deliver software to a big health organization in the US. And I love it. I love what I do. And I picked up trading on the side, and it worked for me. It took me a long time to get to this point. 2006 to today, you do the math. There's a lot of years there. I was kind of an up and down trader. I never blew up an account, fortunately. So we'll get to what that means and how that helps traders later on. But risk management was always something that I picked up right away. I can't stand losses on the screen. If I'm in and I'm down 2, 3, 4, 5%, I get that stomach ache. I'm like, I'm out right away. And
I
I
think that's the key to your clean charts is part of that because you're only going to risk so much, so the chart's got to be clean. So that's
Yeah,
just, we're gonna get there, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
We'll get there. So I've always had that in me, and I think now, after all these years, that has always been my advantage in being able to last. Because I had to go through 1,000 cuts, and the market couldn't get to me because I had the good periods when the market was good, and I call that market on the give, and I got that from what's his name, Scott
Sinclair.
Sinclair,
Yeah,
Scott
yeah.
Sinclair
I like Scott. He's great. Yeah.
from IBD. He has a say that he says the market is on the give or the market is on the take.
Right.
So when the market was on the give, I wasn't just all of a sudden smarter. It was just easy market. I was making progress. And then when the market was on the take, I was getting 1,000 cuts, but I was never blowing up an account. So I went kind of like that, back and forth, never really consistent, but never losing a lot of money until like around 2013. And I honestly took a break from the market at that time. We've
That's
had
funny.
new,
I did about the same there too. And
yeah, we had a new baby. Our
yeah.
first boy was born in 2012, and then we built a new house. So I took a lot of money from my account and put a down payment for the house to build the new house for the family. And I took a break for about a year and a half, and then I kind of went back into it. I built a little bit more capital, and I went back into it. And then around 2016 is when I came across IBD, to be honest. And until then, I was trying to figure all of it on my own.
Mhm.
And we'll get to how difficult that is to be able to do it on your own without having like some mentors or somebody to lean on and learn from. My early uh, kind of mentors and the books that I read were Stan Weinstein and Mark Douglas. And then after that is just trying to do it on my own. But then when I found IBD, um, I hated services, to be honest with you, before. And I've always thought that services is there just to take your money and they're not going to teach you anything. And I was wrong on that. And we'll get to why later. So when I found IBD, I was very hesitant in kind of subscribing to any of their services. And I ultimately did. And from IBD, I found Mark Minervini as well, because he's there a lot.
Sure.
And then I got his books. Obviously, I read Bill's book. And I think from there, things start really opening up after reading these books over and over and over again. And I wanna kind of pull up a PowerPoint slide to go through kind of the style and
Yeah.
how I moved on in my trading journey, because until 2016 I was on and off trader, not really consistent. And then 2018, 2019, 2020 and beyond is where things changed. And it's because of really teaching of O'Neill first, because O'Neill gave me the ability to focus. We're going to talk about leaders a lot. We're going to talk about liquidity. We're going to talk about how do we filter down to where do you go to be able to outperform the market. So let me pull that up quick. I think it'll give us something to look at while we're chatting.
Sure. Go ahead.
All right, awesome. So these are really my giants: Stan, Mark, Bill, and Minervini. And these are the books that I have read 100,000 times. What I want to do very quickly, and I know everybody here probably wants to see charts, so we'll get to charts. But I think this is really extremely important, because the charts is part of the story. And it's extremely important to understand how the stock move. What is the life cycle of a stock? Different than a life cycle of an IPO. There's a book on that. But the life cycle of a stock is extremely important, because once you understand that piece, and I think that was the aha moment for me that unlocked how do you navigate trading, understanding how stock moves. And then from there, you can start zooming in on those low risk entries that Leif likes to target and myself like to target. But if you don't understand how, in general, a stock moves, you're going to have extremely hard time to figuring out, is this a low risk entry or not? Okay. So what I'm going to do is quickly go through each of these traders and quickly kind of help you understand what I grabbed from them and how I took that and made it my own, and then
Okay.
tweaked it to just work for me.
And do you
So
want to talk about what we were saying? We talked a little before. We were talking about how the blow-ups are much harder to do if you're starting out, if you start with risk management like you did, right?
yep.
Right. Like when I started out, no, there was some risk management, but I was in the wrong stocks and I got blown out in 1996 right away, which is the smallest loss you're going to take when you blow out. And I've never done it again. That's sort of the price of admission for someone that doesn't start with the
Yeah.
risk management from the books. That's why I say start with that and don't be a random trader. That's your message in general too, right? I mean, it's like we don't want to be a random trader. We want to be repeating something repeatable is always what we want to do.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
And just managing the risk from the very get-go gives you the chance to live long enough in this game to be able to learn and do what you need to do. So from Stan, I learned quickly the stages. This is not a time to explain what these stages are, but essentially in the stock, there's 4 stages: stage 1, 2, 3, and 4 in every stock. And me and Leif live in stage 2. Okay. So that's by itself automatically filters out hundreds and thousands of stocks that you shouldn't be wasting time looking at. So now you know your step 1 is understanding these stages and stick and be in stage 2. That's kind of what Stan helped me understand. But on itself is not easy, because you can blow up trying to buy stocks in stage 2.
Sure.
Trust me, ask Leif.
Yeah, yeah.
You can easily blow up trying to just randomly buy stuff in stage 2, but that's step 1. I think maybe I should put Mark Douglas as step 1, because psychology is so important in trading.
No paper trading. You talked about this. This is a big
Yeah.
thing for me.
Yeah, no paper trading. Paper trading is not going to help you with your psychology. Use paper trading if you want to kind of learn how to put the order with your brokerage, like
Right.
limit order, stop limit, stuff like that. Just kind of train, but risk $20, $30, $50. I did that
Yeah.
early in my days when I was trying to learn. I used to put positions on, and there's $20 risk on the table, but it's still $20, still $30. Obviously, in 2020, 2006, $20 was a lot more than now, but you get the point. But the thing is, you need to work on your mindset. Without a mindset, the best of strategies will fail, because you're going to have losses regardless of how good you are. You're going to have tough times regardless of how good you are. And those tough period, they're going to go for a while. We're not talking about a day or two. We're talking about weeks and months. And if you don't have the right mindset around trading, you're not going to be able to stick to a strategy. You're not going to be able to be successful in a strategy. The best quotes from Mark, I put them here, but I just want to read the first one out loud. The hard, cold reality of trading is that every trade has an uncertain outcome. There is 0% guarantee in any trade you take. 0%. It's all probability. It's about the 100 trades that you put together. The result of that is your performance. It's not one trade. And this is why, a lot of times when you put some really good setups on X and it fails, you kind of look like an idiot. But
I know the feeling, trust.
yeah, right. And I'm like, dang it, did you have to fail this time? But
Yeah,
like myself and Leif are ready for it to fail. But
yeah,
new traders look at it and be like, I thought that was a good trade. What happened? Well, nothing happened.
yeah, yeah.
It's just a normal.
We
Okay.
can only line up things and try little edges, but ultimately it comes down to the random wheel spin a lot of times in the risk management.
Random.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Nothing is going to be, it's random. So extremely important. Let's move to Bill, because I think Bill and honestly, really the teaching of IBD is the one that really got me to transition from that period of struggling and then just spinning my wheels, not understanding trading and stocks. There's a lot on this slide. I'm not gonna just drain it, but essentially the way you focus is to figure out what are you trying to do and what works for you. Ken Slim, and I read that book tons of times. Three major pieces. It's the fundamentals, and then the technicals, and then the market direction, all three working together to give you the best chance to stack the odds in your favor. Like, I know tons of traders that only trade technicals, and they are very successful. Okay. But that did not work for me, to be honest. And I did not have the time to go through 2,000 charts, 3,000 charts, and flip through them. I did that before 2016, 2017, and I got burned out because I'm doing that in addition to my full-time job. So,
Right.
so what Bill helped me do, helped me get some time back and focus on one specialized area. So now if I'm trading, that stock needs to have the fundamentals for me to trade in. And I also need to have the market direction in my favor. And stacking those three will help you do that. We're going to talk a lot about these in when we're talking about stocks and stuff. Basis, stock base patterns, base structure, base count. Before 2016, I had no idea this stuff existed. Like, I did not know what a base is. I did not know what a base pattern is. I was more focused on Bollinger Bands and squeezes and averages and, you know, those triggers that come from indicators.
So
And
let me clarify what you're saying. We talked about this too. That's random trading, right? So
yeah,
you can't trade everything. You're only gonna get lucky randomly, be rewarded for bad behavior if that's what you're doing, and that's all of a sudden randomly working, right? So learning what the bases are and doing the repeatable stuff, and that's I think what you're talking about is I'm just trying to get the viewers to see what you're saying there. You're
yep,
going to do the same thing over and over again with a few different setups, which we're going to go
yeah.
into at some point. So it's going to be really cool.
Yep, like a lot of,
Yeah.
and again, some traders are successful doing that, but a lot of traders just, there's some traders that buy stock just fall into the 50 moving average, 50-day moving average. I don't do that, right? But if it's around the 50-day moving average, in a base or on top of the base, or in a manner that fits my overall umbrella of where I trade, then I would take that trade. And that's not just a stock randomly fall into the 50 moving average. So there's a structure to the madness, if you want to say. And then follow through day is extremely important in bear markets. It's not as important in bull markets when you have a pullback in a 2-3 day pullback. But in crazy bear markets, follow through days are extremely important. And then lastly, really filter in stocks. What
Mhm.
Bill and his teaching helped me do is go from 9,000 stocks. That's the universe. We have about 9 to 10,000 stocks, right, Leif, between NYSE, NASDAQ, and AMAX. There's about that much. Helps me be able to filter and then just look in the right areas for the stocks that I want to trade. I put a couple scans that I do often. Strong RS greater than 85. That's relative strength rating greater than 85. And then, I obviously mix it with a lot of fundamental scans as well. So EPS acceleration, sales acceleration, sales growth. So I have a list of scans that I do in Market Surge now. And then I put those all in one master work list. And I'll end up with about 500 to 600 stocks. So that's the filtering mechanism. Quick, just a screen on the basis that we look for, me and Leif, in the stocks that we're trading. And then we trade around that. So we trade either inside the base while it's building. Sometimes, yes, we try to catch it making the turn in that base. And those are risky trades. Leif know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe we'll show some examples as well. And then the majority of our trading is on the right side of the base while it's building. And then if it broke out, and then pulling back to the base. And then we do some creative stuff after that. So we'll get to that as well in our examples. But mainly we rotate and stay focused around these patterns and around stage 2 as I mentioned at the beginning. And then what Mark helped me do, a lot of the things that I could not do with Bill. Bill used to buy a stock if it was gapping up, because he had the time to study the company, have that conviction that, okay, the stock is gapping up 15% out of its base, I'm buying it. And he bought it. I couldn't do that. If the stock is up already 6-7% without me, I can't buy it. And that's not right or wrong, but it just wasn't in me. So what Mark helped me do is figure out how to get in before, how to find the lowest risk entry. How can I get in, risk in 2%, 3%, 4%, and then achieve those outperformance results? And I think that's really kind of Mark is helped me focus on the execution of these entries more than anything else. So his VCP concept of cycling on the right side and then selling, drying up was huge. Pullback buys, the way Minervini does them, are very different than any other pullback buy you see on the internet, because pullback buys are very tricky. Everything pulling back is a pullback buy.
Right.
But there's a different definition for what these pullback buys are. Always think risk first. How much can I lose versus, oh, how much I'm going to be gaining if I get into this? Backing into risk, I have a full YouTube video around what does that mean. Time compression is essentially different wording for straight up from the bottom. So there's no symmetry on the right side of the pattern. Leif looks for that symmetry all the time when the right side is building. And then progressive exposure. Don't be rushed to get in full scoop. I think that's extremely dangerous, especially if the market is choppy, especially if we're trying to bottom. Just go gradual. Just forget about FOMO. FOMO is not going to get you anywhere.
I totally agree. And the thing is that you don't sit down at the poker table and just go all in, right? You're working your way up. So just to put in the obvious terminology, but the VCP is that characteristic of a pattern that's tightening up. I totally use all this. His daily turn and all the tight stuff. He was never going to show any patterns that were sloppy. Very good stuff. Just like you. So
exactly. So if you look at what I just said, the last kind of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I took you from the very broad view with Stan, the stages, and then zoom in a little bit, and that gets you to Bill with his basis inside of stage 2, and then zoom in a little bit more, and then that take you to Minervini's kind of laser focused execution on your entries. And I wanted to put those two pictures facing each other, or the charts facing each other, to kind of show the difference between Bill, where he buys, and then how the kind of Mark way is a little bit more focused, and that's kind of really what I do, and then what Leif does as well. But the fundamentals that drive the execution and where we execute is still the same. All right. And then I'll pull this, because what I would like to do is here just in a second. So we'll go through these a little bit closer. But what I would like to do with these, Leif, if you're okay, is just kind of still around the strategy and where do we buy. I want to show a couple examples from the PDF of the America's Greatest Opportunities, and then kind of back and forth talk a little bit about that. I want to annotate this, and I want to drive home the strategy that we both follow. And you're spot on at the beginning of the interview. You said, the reason why we became, good friends and we talk often is because we really trade the same thing. So let me, this is Yahoo from the 97, 98. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit and just annotate on where myself and Leif, we haven't talked about this before, so if I'm mistaken, please stop me. But
I like what you're saying too. It's like, it's good to have someone that trades like you, so we keep ourselves in check. You can easily sort of start drifting off, but you're not going to show that to somebody that's going to say you're drifting off. So you're going to stay on track, right? That's kind of a good thing I recommend everybody does is find your style, be around these traders and constantly see the right stuff and don't drift. Style
Exactly.
drift, right? We don't want that, but yeah.
Yep. So obviously there's the bear market in the 96. So the places that and the reason why I want to do this, because this will give you an idea on where do we look to enter me and Leif. So in this area here, for me and Leif, this is extended, and
Okay.
we won't be entering that. Okay. Then Yahoo makes its move, and then now it's pulling back and building a base. So me and Leif will be looking, this stock will be at our radar, and we will be looking to enter around here somewhere.
Right.
Okay. And then it makes 3 weeks run up high like this. This is extended for me and Leif. We won't be buying this at all in here. And then it
Right.
stopped pulling back, building a base. So me and Leif will be interested in buying back in this area. And now it takes off. We're already in it. If we're not in it, we won't be chasing it anywhere in this area. This area is all a no for me and Leif. And then you'll see Leif posting a lot sometimes, and myself, it's extended and short. If you look, these two here, if you open these on the daily, this area here is going to look short and extended on the daily. And that's what we mean by short and extended. And then the stock just goes up, and then it pulls back, pulling back to the 50. That's where we will start being interested again in the stock. And then now it's turning, making the round, the right side of the base. So we're interested again in trying to find an entry here. We're
On the
not.
daily time frame, we kind of zoom in just in case anyone's not keeping up. It's this is a weekly chart, and then we're
Yeah,
dialing into the daily and sometimes even look a little
exactly.
intraday when we're trying to do the buying. So,
Yep, it broke out here. We're already either in or not. So we're not interested in getting in here. We're not interested in getting in here. We're not interested in here. We're not interested in here. Even here, we're not. Unless this is a high tide flag, this will continue to look extended on the daily. And then testing the 50, then we're interested in buying again here. And then so on and so forth. So, but I wanted to do this just a little bit so that you know where are the areas where we are interested in looking for an entry in leading stocks. So Yahoo at that time was a leader in the space, in the internet revolution. And we'll be talking a lot here when we start pulling stocks about the AI revolution. Okay, so I have a lot of these, but this is a PDF. It's available online for anybody. Leif, if people want it later, we can put the link for folks to study a lot of this stuff. So that's really in a like kind of a really quick, fast explanation of our strategy and how we trade and when we're interested in a stock.
so what I wanted to go over was asking you about the advantages and disadvantages of full-time work. I'm one to say it's always good to sort of have a career, unless you're a career and all you did is study finance and you want to work in the space. I always say kind of do your career, make this your hobby, and then transition once you've really done, if you want to transition to it, after you've done everything you need to do in life with your career and all this stuff. That's sort of what I did. You're the one that's doing the job and trying to trade at the same time and not available and you're not looking all day. So how does that go for you? And what kind of tips can you give people about that?
Yep. So I took the rest of the day off to be able to do this
Okay.
today
I
with you.
appreciate that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yep. That's 100% my recommendation.
Okay.
Especially if you're a person that can't handle stress very well.
Sure.
I was not a person that can handle stress very well.
Yeah.
And to be doing this full time, there's a whole new aspect of stress. It's one thing to know that you have a full-time job where you can bring in constant stream of money to support your family, versus your trading is the money that's going to pay the bill.
Mm.
And I think with that added stress, um, it's going to make it extremely harder to do so. I would highly recommend you, because you're going to need time to learn, especially if you're doing this new. You're going to need time to learn. It took me 10 years trying to do this alongside my job. If you don't have a full-time job and you're trying to learn this, maybe you can accelerate that down to 6, 7, 4, if you're fully 100% dedicated every day to learning it. But the stress aspect of it is a totally different game. And then your time frame. I don't need to be sitting looking at the monitor every day, every second while doing this, because the style that I picked, the strategies that I picked, don't require me to look at the stock every single minute of the day. This is why we're looking at the weekly chart. This is a weekly chart. This is not a minute, 5-minute chart. Right. So even if I want to quit my job now, I'm going to be bored to hell.
Yeah, that's true. You'll get more and more active if you did, though. I would think that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's 100% not going to be to my advantage.
There you
100%.
go. There you go.
For this style, it's not going to be for my advantage.
Right.
And then something that I struggled with a lot in the beginning, because I was trying to figure out my style, I was obviously looking at intraday charts a lot. And I can save you a lot of trouble and a lot of pain and a lot of burnout. And I can tell you, if you have a full-time job and you're not planning on quitting your job, do not look at intraday charts. Just
love that. Yeah.
You are killing yourself. You are getting burned out, and you are not going to get anywhere. I don't think I've ever met someone that is doing day trading and have a full-time job.
Yeah, that doesn't really work, right? It's just during the day, that has to be the job. Otherwise, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. So know your time frame, and then know your personality. How do you handle stress? And then really give yourself some time. This making money trading is a lot harder than making money from a full-time job. If you want money, you need to go for a full-time job until you really master this, and then be consistent and profitable for multiple years in a row. And even when you get to that point, you're going to have some months and potentially a year or two where you could be not bringing any money because the environment is not right.
Right. Yeah. My personal journey was that of an entrepreneur. I always wanted to prove myself in business. I did that as slightly retired, in and out of, different projects. And like you said, I think you stopped around 2012 or 13 for a little bit.
2013, yeah.
I did the same. And this is I never really told this story, but I had a money manager for maybe less than a year. I'm like, look, I don't have time to look at this. Here's some money. Like, let's start. And he did well with it. Somebody I was actually going to stake for an RIA or something, right? We're trying to. He was an absolute genius. I like to work around people that are smarter than myself. That's the way I look at it. And he died of glioblastoma. So, and it's not like he didn't trust the office, but I took it back myself. And then, because things had changed, I'd sold out of some projects and stuff. And then I started to trade it myself. And it really hit me when, and I'm really sorry to hear about your diagnosis, like when you had cancer too, is we're like the same age, you have kids too. We trade the same. It's just, you're doing everything right, just awful. So very sorry to hear, but just let us know how you're doing and stuff.
Well, let me add one more thing to that
Sure,
we haven't touched yet, and I think that's a really good segue to it. If you don't love this, you're not going to be successful.
True.
Like, you can do your job and get paid, and you don't have to love your job, and you'll be okay. But if you don't love trading, and it's something that you want to do because you really love it, you're not going to be successful. So when I got diagnosed, and I'm going to try not to get emotional here,
Yeah, let's try. I think we
Yeah.
kind of skipped it all and went right into the
Yeah.
fun part. You know, we love trading, the two of us. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Um,
We love talking trading and stocks. We could do it forever. We could turn off this thing and just talk, and it would be
when
stocks for the next 3 hours until the families take us out.
when when I got diagnosed early this year, it was early April. It was just April 3rd or 4th, or something like that. I was in the ER March 15. Um, I obviously stopped trading because I was trying to figure out what was going on. And when I when I was diagnosed with a very rare cancer. Started in my thymus gland. It really accounts only to 1% of all cancer cases in the U.S. 1%. So I dodged all of the common cancers to land this rare jackpot. Okay, unfortunate. And the first few months, the first couple months, April, May, all the way to June, I was pretty much borderline depressed, to be honest. I wasn't looking at charts. I wasn't looking at trading. I wasn't looking at anything. Everything I was thinking about were my two boys. They're 13 and 7. And when you go through event like this and thinking that I didn't think I'm gonna make my birthday. My birthday was last September, so I only thought I had a few months to live. And the only thing you think about at that time is your kids. And if you're gone this early, they're most likely not going to remember you. When chemo stopped working, I was put on chemo right away. When chemo stopped working and I start getting some aspects of my life back, I was able to turn the corner mentally, physically. I had a lot of time to think about a couple of regrets in my life that I'm fixing now. But I was stuck in the future and worried about the future because what I have doesn't have a cure.
hmm
And what I realized is that I need to change that. I need to stop worrying about the future and live day to day and be there for my family and do the things that I enjoy. So I went back on my motorcycles. I went back on my bicycle. I went back running. I went back spending time with my family.
You just did a marathon too, right? The last one.
I just did a marathon.
You completed the 26 miles, the whole thing. Wow.
26.2. I did.
I could do maybe a couple. Sorry. That's just,
So
I mean, it's amazing, man. You had the
yeah.
footsteps watch. I always told you, I wish I had 16,000 footsteps. You know, I sit at the desk too long, but
So I went back and I picked up the things that really mattered to me.
yeah.
And ultimately I picked back charting and picked back trading because I liked it. I loved it. Um, I felt good doing it.
Mhm.
I felt good. I feel good when I know a pullback is coming and when I nail that pullback.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I don't think it was the money. Like I didn't care. I just wanted to go back and do the things
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
like.
Getting it right is great, right? Just doing the great setup and just getting it right is just amazing.
Yeah. So so that's if I didn't like trading, I wouldn't be spending a minute on it at
Yeah.
this point because my time is limited. I I am gonna be here for as long as I can. Um, but my and I'm optimistic. And obviously, I just ran a marathon. A person running a marathon after finishing 6 rounds of chemo, and just 8 weeks post my chemo treatment is not a person that is going to give up easily. Um, but I want to use my time doing the things that I like, and trading is one of them. And that's why I came back to trading. So this was a long, long, long story in telling you, if you don't like trading, you're not going to be successful at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're there just for the money, you are not going to make it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you got to love it. It's got to be your hobby. It's got to be the real thing that you want to do outside of family and stuff, right? So,
yep. I did the marathon for my boys.
yeah.
I thought I'm gonna probably do half of it and not be able to finish it.
It's
But
such a good example. We talked about that. Uh, I mean, it inspires me too. The stuff I do to show them. I did some stuff, and I told you about personal stuff, just to show them what's right and wrong. Right, something that's wrong, I'll go over and beyond to show them like what you should do. Right, and it's just the lessons are there, and you're a good example.
it's
So this is, uh,
it's the never give up attitude.
yeah, yeah.
And the never give up attitude is in everything you do in life.
Mhm.
And if trading is one of them, trading is going to take a lot of your time. And you need to have the never give up attitude to be able to make it. I do a lot of reading, a lot of listening on audiobooks and stuff. But there was a few stats that ran across a few years ago around trading. And I think the more lenient stat was that 96% of traders don't make it. And then the more stringent stat was 98% of traders don't make it. So we're coming into this, you got to put the time to learn, study, and then have the determination to be successful, to learn from your mistakes, and then risk management. I know everybody talks about risk management, but
You got to love risk management. That's another thing. It's almost like, hey, I took the loss and it bottom ticked me, went straight up, but I maintained the discipline, and maybe you get a reset out of it. But hey, that's you have to be dialed in, right?
absolutely,
And,
100%.
and stick with your rules and just you always do that. I've always been looked up to you that way, and your charts, you don't deviate. It's great. So all your stuff has always been great. The cleanest charts of all time. Maybe we could bring some up and kind of still roll this idea out on some charts. Do you want to maybe
Yep.
bring up some
Yep.
charts or something and show some patterns and
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. So let's pull up some charts. I'm gonna squeeze this and whatnot, but go back to the concept of our trading. So I've traded this stock in July or in this area right here. So that's in May. Let me do that. Let me go back to May. May. All right, let's see where this lands us here. Yep, let's go one more week. Okay, perfect. So this is really a good example of where we look to enter and how our strategy works. So you've got your regular uptrend, you're in stage two, you've got your 200 MA line, that's the black line in an uptrend. And then the stock just kind of goes on a really acceleration here. Just breaking the highs of these. This is kind of going a little bit parabolic, and now it's starting to build that base. So you've got the base building, and me and Leif are trying to figure out how to enter in that base before the breakout happens and take place. The way this broke out here, and this is where I said sometimes with Bill, it's not, his way of buying did not fit me personally. I need something tight. I need risk control a lot better than, just a 7-8% stop right after a standard pivot breakout. This is a standard pivot up here. So what the stock did, it did something that I trade a lot and I call failed breakout reset. And I think Leif, you even call it the same thing or
yeah, I
something
call it
like
like
that.
pivot reset. We
Pivot
tend to look
reset, or
for,
yeah.
and that's a 6 day pivot reset is sort of our target at the time there. How many days you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Boom, there you go.
Yep.
That's our on the platform. That's my notes. Is what our preferred distance. A little secret we have, internally there is what we look for, and that's you totally nail that. And yeah, the high breakouts, I stay away from those unless it builds perfectly at the highs and tightens up and tightens up and tightens up a lot more than that. This one, we had a whole sequence of the ones we did attack did act like this. That was in, the bear market, right? The way it touched the 200, all the ones that came out of there, the great leaders all sort of barely touched and stayed in trend. That's a
Yep.
key because people are missing behind that is a bear market, right? So then you're coming out of a bear market buying this, and that's where you can get a lot of juice if you're right, and the market continues as it did. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got it. And then there's I love these. I look for these because a lot of new traders will just chase the breakouts, the obvious new high breakouts. And then what most often you get the slam back to the top of that area and you
Support where
stay.
people were buying, right? And then maybe they're not done buying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then you stay in top of that your base area, and you really haven't failed. Your best indication whether you're staying in that top area is your 21 EMA. So that's kind of how I use the 21 EMA. I
Right.
don't buy stuff because it's failing to fall into the 21 EMA, but you can use that to help you gauge where the pullback is and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that breaks out, slams everybody, everybody's out, and now you're coming in trying to figure out how to get in on a low risk entry. So this was something I bought. Then what I like to do is look for ways to continue to size up, because this is not a technical only pattern. Okay, so when you look at KTOS, what is it? What theme it's in? It's in a drone industry theme. We'll talk about AI. We'll show some examples of AI here in a second.
Yeah, you
But
really
the other,
kept me in AI this year too. So thank you for that. I mean, I always saw you AI, and then you know what, all these deals come out. I'm like, this, it's not over. It's so right.
yeah,
And AMD
it's
and everything.
not. It's not. We can spend just a couple
Yeah.
minutes talking about AI here and here, but I a lot of, like, I know, and that was me too in the past. You look at where the SPY is, where the Nasdaq is, and be like, oh my God, we're extended, and it really doesn't matter what the indices are doing.
Right.
Mark Minervini has, I have some clips of him, saying, "Oh my God, what do we do if we don't have indices? How do we trade?"
Yeah.
you know, I think the feedback from your portfolio is way more important than what the SPY and the QQQ are doing. That's one. And then two is the situational awareness and you understanding, okay, what's going on with the markets right now and what's hot. So the drone theme is hot. I mean, you've got Middle East wars, you've got Russia and Ukraine wars, and if you watch these wars just for a little bit, most of it is drones.
Right.
I mean, obviously, what's happening in between Israel and Gaza is a little different, but they're using a lot of drones as well there. But drone is a hot theme, AI is a hot theme, and when you latch on to a leader in those themes, and you latch on with a low risk entry, what
Yeah.
you want to do is figure out how to get more versus, oh, I'm going to sell it up 5% or 10%. So if you just fast forward here just a little bit, this gave you another opportunity right here. And Leif would know. I mean, I can probably just show him that chart and say, hey, Leif, where did I buy this? He would know where I bought it without
Yeah.
me telling him.
You'd probably do a little ad there if you're trying to size it. Yeah.
Yep.
Any little that
Yep.
almost inside day or spirit of one.
Exactly. Yep. So like right here is your next ad. And
Mm,
then you're kind of, getting on this stock. And then, so this would scare a lot of people. This
yeah.
action would scare a lot of people. But if your stop is here or your stop is here, this action, look at the volume down here.
They're not that wild about selling it. That's the way
No.
I sort of read it. And sometimes that can be wrong, but it's a clue that the sellers are not throwing it out the window, right? So it's like they're
Yep.
selling a little trickle off there. So
Yep. This essentially, I mean, the market that day looked like it went down pretty good as well.
yeah.
And if this was on high volume, like if the volume was up here,
Hmm.
I would exit before my stop. But because it's a really, really dry volume, I would keep it and keep my stop the way it is. And then this is exactly kind of what happened. It kind of bounced back, and then we're up from there. And then so now this text, so I'm gonna just fast forward because I want to make that point again. So I'm gonna fast forward 1 month. So now the stock is out of its base and trending. Okay. I'm not buying here. I'm not looking to buy here. I'm not looking to buy here. We're done. And this is where you got this. You know what you're doing. Because I kid you not, there's still some traders trying to buy it here and trying to buy it here and trying to buy it here. But we're done. And if we missed it here and missed it here, me and Leif will be trying to figure out, okay, how the heck did we miss this? Versus I want to buy it.
Yeah, yeah. In a lot of ways, the entire base is like a cup, a spirit of one if you draw it underneath, and then the where you bought it is like fishing the low and the handle. Use some imagination. It's kind of
Yep.
what you're doing there. So, and
Yep. If we go out 1 month, now this is obviously really extended. So
mm,
like this stock now is not on my radar and not on Leaf's radar. We're done. We're either in making money or we're just waiting for it to do what, Leaf?
you get a base, or you could use that for some info on some other trades. You say, hey, this is the top where the other ones are busting loose, right? So,
Exactly. So let's see when this stock gets back on our radar. So I'm gonna jump 1 more month, and then this stock is still chugging higher. This is short. I won't be involved here, so I'm doing nothing. And then we're gonna go 1 more month out, and this gone. This one here, I think this is actually a high tide flag. Is that right?
it could be
But
pretty close,
so
or
yeah,
low
yeah,
type
yeah,
flag,
yeah.
right?
No, not a high tide flag. But this one. So this is the 50, and this is
Yeah.
why I like to use the 10-week MA. So this is extremely important. This is the 50. It did not touch the 50. But if I go to the weekly, look at the weekly.
Right.
So this is your first touch after a massive breakout from its base. So what do we be looking to do here, Leif? We'll be looking to get involved.
Oh, yeah.
It's your first touch of the 50 or your second touch of the 50 on a leader in a hot theme. We will be looking to get involved. And then your entry, I missed this one. I was looking at this. I never took it. This was the entry. And this is testing the 10-week MA, tested successfully, made a tight pivot, gives you the ability to get in.
Right.
I wanna bring up STX because this stock
Where are you selling it before you change? But we could do this
oh
one stock
yeah, yeah, yeah.
forever, I'm sure. But
I sold this too early. I sold
yeah.
this here, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's the case. So that's a good thing to say because Rigetti is something I just a quantum name I sold, and then what did it do? Like doubled. I mean, I sold up 30%, but I had a few others, so it was like,
Yeah.
you're never going to get the top, and that's part of the business. So just to illustrate that.
Yep. I want to stay on the drone theme. This is the stock I'm still in. So Leaf doesn't know. I didn't talk to Leaf about this, but I'm gonna ask him. Hey, Leaf, where do you think I bought this?
On the right side, I'm thinking you're buying the 50-day pop there, maybe, or even below it if you're going crazy. But I'd say 50-day.
The on the 619 right
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yep.
breaking out there. Yeah,
Yep. So that was my entry on this stock.
right.
And then we're still not in today. So I'm gonna go to the day. Let me go to the day.
I'm the best hindsight trader that's ever lived, by the way. Did I tell you this? I can
Um,
look at a chart and tell you where I should have bought it.
yeah. So I bought it, but this is a drone industry. I sold. Yeah, I sold a lot here. I thought we're done, but we're back up here. I have a small piece, probably like 2%, 3%, just trailing these to I don't know when. I would love to see this do what? Give us a pullback while the
Yeah,
50 is going
base.
up. And now what would that do? That would be your first test of the 10-week MA after a massive breakout on a leader. So that's when I would like to get involved again in this name. It's gone now. Okay. I want to do STX as an example. This one, oh boy. So this is, if you guys, we talked a little bit about time compression with Mark Minervini, straight up from the bottom. Breakout. I didn't get involved, obviously, and I won't.
There's no right side there if you take off the stuff above it, right? People always
Yep.
say, well, I should have bought that. There's nowhere that we would have bought that. This is why there's a problem. So we were only
Yep.
looking at it at much up there, 150 range or something.
Yep. So even the reason why I want to talk about STX, because I want to just illustrate one point. Just don't be FOMO. If you know what you're looking for, you should have no FOMO. I have no FOMO. I'm pretty sure Leif has no FOMO. The
Yeah.
reason why is because we know every leader is going to build a base,
Mhm.
and then every leader, regardless of how powerful it is going to give you a pullback to the 10-week MA.
Sure, sure.
Point. End of discussion. We know for a fact both of these happened. So Leif doesn't care about buying it here. I don't. He doesn't care about buying it here. I don't. I am more than happy to buy it at a higher spot,
Mhm.
but I will be ready to buy it there because it meets my criteria. And that criteria is it's pulling back to the 10-week MA for the first time after a massive breakout. And then what happens? You bought it here, and then if you did,
Yeah.
and then you're making really good profits here. So did it really matter that you didn't buy it here? Did it really matter that you didn't buy it here? Nope.
Well, the FOMO thing, I think, is the most cured when you just realize you don't buy that, and
And
you
then that's it. You
hit,
don't
should
buy
hit
it.
yourself on the hand if you do, and there's nothing to be mad about. Like I said, that's a clue to buy something else. So I actually missed the STX
I
base.
did the reason why I'm bringing it up because I
Yeah,
missed it because
yeah,
this right here. So I'm gonna go back to
right. That looked great. That's a low tight flag. It felt a little wedgy, but amazing in hindsight. Good RS line. Uh,
Yep.
But you know what? I used this to go into MU successfully from wherever to like 155 I got out. So
Well, let's bring MU because I this is one of the stocks that shook me out. And then maybe that's a good segue to talk about shakeouts a little bit.
yeah, there's a lot
So
of shakeouts.
I talked about MU tons on X, and then I'll tell you Leif where I bought it and then how I got shaken out of it. So let me just fast forward again. One more.
I may have tried this twice too, I think, right in there. I think that little first fake up I
Okay.
went for, that shook me out, and I tried it again because it was just too hot. I couldn't ignore it. So
Yeah, I bought it here.
yeah, I think I did too. And then I was shaken out after 3 days, a couple more days.
Yep. So I bought it there, and
Yeah,
then it shook me out right here at I kid you not, potentially the bottom tick of that day.
yeah. Right.
But here's and then that's fine. The
It
thing
happened.
is,
Yeah, me too. I think I was in the same idea, right? So same thing.
yeah, the thing is this reset. This was a nice pivot.
Yeah.
It's back, reclaim the support. I didn't buy it. And this is kind of where I get a little bit upset. I should be in this. I'm not in it. It shook
I,
me
I
out.
I could see that. If you got your finger on the trigger, there is a little bit of I should have got that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on my primary list that day, and I did not do it. And I thought it needed a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But look again. This is the same thing over and over. Look at this bar here that looked scary. There was no volume. And look at this shakeout here that looked scary. There was no volume either. Okay. So these are kind of indication.
Not a serious sell-off is what we're looking at. So just to clarify what you're saying for everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one that did exactly the same and reset, but I didn't get on it is IREN. This one really pisses me off, but I bought it here. Okay. And
Yeah.
then shook me out right at the bottom, right there.
Yeah.
But what it did just the next day, it's set up exactly like MU did.
Yeah.
Just a small range bar right after the shakeout. And I had it on my primary and I didn't take it. And it did the same thing. And this stock is now a lot higher. I think we don't have the calendar open all the way. But if I go to back to today, this stock, I mean, this is where we're talking about right here that I should have rebought it.
Yeah. That looks good there. Is that inside day before the buy day?
Almost. I don't think it
Yeah.
was real inside, but
Well,
yeah, almost. It
spirit
was.
of one from this zoomed out.
Yeah.
thing. It looks inside, right? This is close enough.
Yep. So I got the shakeout here, and this is the entry. And then I never went back into it. And that really kind of just, I mean, look at that now.
Oh,
It's
there's a lot of shakeouts these days, and a lot of our traders are very excited about the second mouse gets the cheese type of setups where you see the shakeout like MU like this, and then the next spot, if it still resets, that's our one of our playbook trades. I think. I mean, right? We pivot reset. Obviously, we
Yeah,
talked
I did a
about
lot of
that.
that. I did
Yeah,
a lot of that this year. FSLR was one that I had to try a couple times before
yeah,
I was back able to do this. And this was a little bit more aggressive even. Normally I'd like them to like do the shakeout, set up a day or two after. But this one, I think I think I was in from here and I held it through all of these days. It's like go, 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 and it can't go. Get stuck. And then, me and you, I think that day we thought, oh, this is going, it's gonna go. And then we got that shakeout the next day. And then let me just zoom in here. Okay, I can zoom in. And then this happened. So I got shaken out on this day, but then I bought it right away the next day over the high.
hmm yeah. We're cheating
Um,
a little early on the turn there for the 200. We usually like to see that round out, and that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
Interv's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
early turn idea, which makes a lot of sense because the base is set up better. But this was what I was thinking was the leader too for solar, and obviously the price of power is going up, so we're putting a couple things together. Even though they took away the subsidies, a little bit of a news failure, and this kind of still was okay. Tan looked good, so we're not just in here for no reason. We're thinking a little bit, right?
Yeah. I love oh yeah, I mean this is a no.
Yeah,
99% of the time, this is a no.
yeah,
But I was really interested in this.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is massive growth coming up in the pipeline. And if this is real and they are going to come up, this is estimates, but if
Mhm.
those estimates are going to materialize, and normally analysts are conservative. So if we're thinking we're going to have this growth, I'm thinking with AI, that growth is going to be even potentially more because of demand
Sure.
for power and all that stuff. So I'm trying to latch on. I'm potentially a leader, but see what we're doing, me and Leif. If I buy it here, and if I maybe buy it here coming out or add to it, but then price action tell me this is not doing what I wanted to do, we're not digging in. We're getting out.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if I believe, AI is going to need, the infinite power and we don't have it and we have to build it, and solar power is going to be one path to build that power. If it doesn't act correctly, I'm going to get out because we stick to risk controls, because we are humans and my theses could be absolutely BS, and I'm not going to just sit and hold the stock.
Well, even if you got it right and it does happen, it can just trade however it trades. I mean, you can be
Exactly.
right and wrong at the same time, and that's part of trading. So it's like a
Exactly.
little bit of a mental gymnastics, and sometimes you're too smart for your own good, and maybe you, you end up in the macro world where
Yeah. But
predicting
this is,
stuff, right?
yes, but this stuff too is very advanced. Like I think
Yeah.
for new traders, like you need to focus, and I posted about that a couple times in on X. You need to focus on clean. Like this is clean. Okay. If you're a new trader, don't worry about this stuff. Like this stuff down here, like let me just clean it out. Okay. This is not too obvious. This is shaking you out and then coming back at it is not too obvious. Okay. I mean, it took me a lot of time to figure out how to do this and do it effectively. This is clean. Okay. As a new trader, just focus on clean. And that's kind of keep my message. Like you can find these, but you're not going to find them every day. But as a new trader, you shouldn't be trading every day either.
That's right. Yeah. Nice and easy. Let it trend. Let the
So
money go to work for you so you don't have to. That's the other saying. You want
yeah,
to put it in your head that way.
let those clean setups come to you. and then take a stab at them. But I also wanna just caution that it doesn't matter if it's a clean setup. That doesn't mean it's gonna succeed all the time or be successful all the time. So you still want to keep in mind your result after 100 trade, because I just took a trade a few days ago, VSD, right here. Okay, that can't be any cleaner.
Pretty clean, yeah.
Okay, it's pretty clean, but it didn't work. Like immediately the second day, I was out. So yes, clean, but when you get your stop and stop limit, let's talk a little bit about that because I get a lot of questions around it.
Okay.
I have full-time job. I don't have time to watch volume and then put orders during market hours. Well, you don't need to. I don't watch volume on the pivot, on the breakouts. I know Leif does because
Yeah,
he's a
definitely
full-time trader.
Yeah, I'm sitting there with my FinViz
Yeah.
mini charts off the open and whatever our
Yeah.
focus is, and I'm like, okay, this one. Then I'm not toggling back and forth. So, that's the thing. I gotta see that. I have to see it, and then you put your clues on there too, all on your same screen. That's a tip for me off the open for someone that does it full time, right? Because it hopefully is my final career, my final job. I'm just gonna do this forever. I love it just like you do.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So yeah, is there advantage there? I I'll let Leif speak to that. I don't watch volume on the pivot on the breakout. If the price moves through that pivot and my stop limit order is in there, I am gonna be buying the stock and I'm gonna get an alert on my phone that I bought the stock. So
Right.
let's
I
talk a
just
little bit
tried this
about.
today, by the way, just to let everybody know. I just bought that this morning.
Oh,
So
you did?
yeah,
BSD?
yeah.
I was looking at. I'm not in it yet, but I'm in. What's the one that's like it? VRT? Is that VRT?
The GEV, I bought GEV and this one. We saw some Trump talk about we're not having enough power or something, gigawatts, and I think the theme is back, just like AI. A bunch of deals, boom, the theme is back. Protectionism is on the rise, and maybe this is like we have those plays. This is the other play of power AI,
Yeah.
right? It's a little bit all connected. You're protectionist because you're going to need these supplies for that, and your top three apps are AI things and all this. But yeah, maybe you know more than I do about the AI, but I'm using a lot of AI tools now and pay for them, and it's just fantastic stuff now. It's getting really,
It,
really good.
it is. Oh, VRT. That's why I grabbed my phone. I'm trying to
VRT,
figure
yeah.
out.
We've
Yeah.
traded in the past, yeah.
Yeah. VRT. I bought it here.
Yeah, that's good. I was looking at that and I wanted like that. I wanted it to come up through it kind of gapped, right? Inside and up, and it kind of gapped a little bit. So it put me off. But that's a great base and everything else, almost inverse head and shoulders if you go more back to the left and you see the overall base too.
Yep. Yeah. So this is kind of a pullback in the handle, right?
Right.
So we were trying to kind of to get in while it's doing the building the handle. This is, and I say that a lot, this is all left side. You don't want to
Yep.
get engaged. You want to start figuring out how to get engaged on the right side of the base. Okay. AMD, I think we should talk about AMD here. Man, I can't, what are we? It's almost 3 o'clock, man. Um,
Yeah, we're in AMD, so just
oh yeah, let's talk a little bit about AMD because this one again a little bit downtrending 200 MA, but I do have a scan, so I'll share that. I do have a scan that looks at 3-month RS in market surge, and I think it's like RS 97 and up, 98 and up,
yeah.
with 20 million worth of trading volume per day or on average.
So recently besting the S&P is basically what it is. That's in the last 3 months.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So I think AMD showed up on that scan around this area. And I put it on my larger watch list. Obviously, AMD chip fits in the AI scheme or theme. And then there's some news about them building and developing new AI chips. So I put it, start watching it. This is the pullback that I was looking for. And then I was in here, and then I wanted to just build this position, not mess around with it. Early in the AI transformation, we really are still only in the AI build out phase. We're gonna see crap load of AI use cases.
Yeah,
That's
what do
going.
you think? Tell me more about this, like your future AI predictions and where's it going to go and all that.
So look, so I think I can't remember who said it, who CEO was, Google CEO. I think he said AI is a more important invention than the fire itself. I might be mistaken about the who said it, but I think it was CEO, Google CEO. I mean, if that's true, you can look back at how the internet transformed. So like Cisco's and Yahoo and all this, right? That 1990 and bull market of .com based off of the internet. Um, if this is even more important than that, then we haven't even started yet. And I do believe that this is more important than that. But that doesn't mean along the ways we're not going to have some pretty scary pullbacks. We've had those in the internet bubble. If you go and you study the bull market, we've had them. But right now, all of these deals that you're looking at, that we're looking at day in and day out, with OpenAI and Oracle and AMD and so on and so forth, and then BE was a stock that I was on. I thought it was done because I sold all of it.
That
But
was a
now,
great trade. And you told me about it, and I'm looking at the spot. I thought, I don't know why I didn't do it, but yeah, that was good. Great.
yeah, and this is kind of like the pullback and slamming back down. So if you
Yeah.
wanna, we can go that quickly. So that's in July. Let's go to July quick.
And it's funny about the deals. I was just saying it wobbled a little bit yesterday only because there was no deals. There's like a deal every day. It's like the last week, there's almost an AI deal daily. And then I think I didn't see one, so just a little wobble to it, right? And then it's back at it. So I don't know if there was a deal today, but AMD is acting like well, they got a lot of upgrades, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is the same thing that we were talking about, right? I mean, this
Yeah.
is you're building your right base, just jumps up here, and then you're looking for that pullback. Here's your pullback, and
Yeah.
then I bought it
That right in
here.
there. That was a beauty. It bounced around a little. And yeah, that was a great spot.
Yeah. This was one of my best trade this year.
But
Um,
your prior daily low held, and I know your stop would be at least below there, so you're not stopped out,
Yep.
right?
But yeah, so right now all of these deals, as we're going with this, all of these deals that you're seeing is to help build out and have the data centers and the electricity and the power that we need for AI. We're
Right.
not even talking about the AI use cases.
And there's EVs coming too, maybe, right? So there's all the
Yeah,
all.
like sound was one of those. And dude,
Mhm.
look, I want to show you this because it happens to us too. I got stopped out here.
Oh yeah, I took out the prior low and then turned back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I thought this is it. It's gonna start routing up. And then I should have rebought it here, and I didn't. So we make these mistakes all the time too, guys, all the time.
that's right.
But I bought this one here. I added to it somewhere. I think this one here after it shook out because it shook me out, and then I rebought them. But then I really sold everything here. I don't know why. Don't ask me. It's fine. I'm
So
out.
you're on theme on this. It's a little bit of a wild base for what you typically trade, but you're kind of overriding that, trying to find the tight area when this wild base sort of gets some price acceptance, and this is your AI play, right? This is because you really
Yeah.
like this
Let
one.
me
Yeah,
let me tell you why this came on my. So you're absolutely right. This is crazy
right,
deep. It's very deep. So
right,
basis, if they're deeper than 50%, I like anything up to 40 max. This is
sure.
crazy. But again, this is at some point we are going to start having AI companies that actually do AI use cases, um, go
Yeah.
nuts, go nuts. And
Yeah.
this is in the heart of it.
So this
Okay.
is about the voice, right? AI
This
voice recognition or something?
this is about AI voice
Okay.
recognition. They do a lot of stuff for contact centers,
Yeah.
for listening to the conversations, and then having a lot of AI insights and generate a lot
Yeah.
of AI triggers and agents and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It came on my radar after the earning per share and this volume gap up, and then it pulled back on low volume. So this all craziness here now is not that much relevant because now we it feels that institutions are coming to this name. And
Right.
the way it pulled back in this relatively okay manner on low volume, and then it tied up over here. So that's when I took a stab at it.
So this is something I was working on the platform about trying to explain why you could have bought Tesla if you switched to Tesla.
Oh yeah,
It's like the right side of the base is its own base. You ignore the nonsense to the left that was like a giant head and shoulders top behind all that. And
exactly.
then it made a decent base and you could have played it from there. So we're trying a little bit of we're tickling it up here a little bit. I'm not sure this is the best, tightest area to buy it, but we're having some FOMO here, maybe trying to get. I think that thing shook out and turned, and that's where I was almost stopped today on the little I have left. So.
Yeah, I bought Tesla here and then I bought it here and I still have it. I still have it in my position trading
But
account.
you can put the slashes through the right side of that, all throughout that little base we're talking about, how it got away from that. It's just sort of the contractions, volatility
Yep.
contraction, and then off you go. So that's
Yep.
what happens when you get away from the 50% or more base depth. We consider this a new base, and it's an interesting thing because when you're trying to get into something like this, it's not the cleanest base ever, but it's Tesla, and everybody breaks the rules for Tesla. But we did have this on for that one spot, and I don't know, I was asleep on that or something, but I got a lot of positions then or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And look, I think it is hard for a lot of traders to figure out what the theme is in the market right now. What's working? Where do you want to focus? And this is stacking all the odds in your favor that we talked about. Knowing how stock moves, stage analysis, bases, when are you buying a stock, and then the theme, identifying the leaders. And I honestly, I want to give Leif a shout out here because I I don't do that, and you guys see me on X. I don't post, hey, do subscribe to that and subscribe to this, but that takes time. Figuring out theme, figuring out what's hot in the market takes time. I don't have time for that. Um, you know, I have good sense of what's like the drones and AI, um, but if you Leaf does an amazing job at that stuff. You really do, man.
thank you. It
Um,
means a lot, seriously.
I mean, it's you can show people what to do on the chart, and it's so much harder in real time
Yeah,
than after the fact.
yeah,
But that's not it. I don't know. Trading technicals only for me never worked for whatever reason. Like I believe you call it random,
yeah. That's the thing. It's
random pattern or something like that. Like you
random
don't
stocks.
buy just the pattern or something like that. So
Thinking
yeah,
thinking beyond the pattern is everything, right? So that's where we do
it,
well.
exactly. And I think
Yeah,
if you are somebody working full time and you want to do this on the side, you want to be able to buy something and hold it for a few weeks at least, because you're not going to be able to just to buy and sell every day. It's just not going to work. Um,
yeah, and maybe bigger
so
bases, right? Bigger bases for
yeah,
more defined bases. That's why if you do have a job, the cleaner, the bigger the base. If this Tesla broke out, you're probably in good shape to go back to work
yeah.
and set your stop. Once you get to a risk multiple, maybe you're scaling some, maybe you're just stopped to even on some combination.
So so
Yep.
so so I'll tell you, and we'll put this on record. It's fine. Um, I'm subscribed to your service, but I honestly don't follow your picks because I don't care about your picks. I have my own picks, but I
Yeah.
subscribe to service because like, okay, I don't have time to figure out what's hot. Leaf is there. He'll figure out what's hot. And then I can find my own pick, my own trading. And that's how people need to use services.
I totally appreciate that. That's almost maybe the right way to do it, right? It's a learning thing. You see, am I in the right spot? Am I buying them right? if you see the right stuff all the time, you're not going to have the drift. Maybe there's no one you're talking to. That's a big thing for me. So this is real
Exactly.
energizing for me to talk to you when everybody I know is very interesting, but they don't trade and they don't understand what I'm doing. My local gambling buddies and whatever,
Yeah.
other people, they're like, oh, you're trading, okay, whatever that is. They have no idea what I'm talking about. So just, it's always cool to go over the stuff. You see what I'm doing, and then I even get some feedback from you and other members, and then we're trying to put it all together for everybody. So,
Yeah.
and I'm
Well,
trying to
I
stay
don't
the course. I'm really trading this stuff, so
know. It's been a good few months.
yeah,
And I think if we continue until the end of the year on a similar fashion, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of traders right now that are struggling, and they're struggling because they are only trading the pattern.
yeah, I see that.
Um, and because if you look at what this market has been doing, it's been AI stocks, drone stocks that are absolutely leading the pack, and everything else is just shopping around in an endless, frustrating patterns.
That's right.
And there's a lot of traders that are having problems right now. I 100%. I mean, look at the championship results. There's over almost 600 subscribers or competitors, and there's only a few that actually reported and making returns. So
Yeah, and it's repeatable. I mean, all these people, J Law, was on Minervini's service. Clement Ang is on ours with, Christian Flanders was a member. These are all the top guys. I'm looking down the list here. And some other ones. I don't know. I don't actually know who's all a member, but they're all at the top. So it's a good sign. It's like a very repeatable style, right?
yep.
That's the thing I say about looking into new market wizards and all that. I love the, like Chris Caramillo does the social arb. I love that, taking that idea and trying to find a leader with it, right? But using the tools. And what I always say is the setup is the tool, and we're trying to use that to get into a leader. And some of those tools are great. I'm not sure anyone can replicate his style. I haven't seen anyone do it yet successfully. I hope they do, which is great. And maybe I don't know what his risk management would be, but
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing to try to look at the who's repeating it, how many people are, and what style are they from. It's all your style, basically. That's it's clean charts, big bases, good buy points, and risk
Absolutely.
management. Same. Everyone's really in the same universe, and whoever does the best, it gets a little luckier than the other, and sometimes, and you pick the right stock, and maybe I had Intel and sold it the day before it popped, maybe the other guy had it, right? That's the kind of thing. Okay, TA Plot, thank you so much for joining us. The cleanest charts of all time, the face reveal, the grit and determination, inspiring everybody, including myself, for sure. Just final thoughts and advice for your younger self and traders starting out, or just general thoughts.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. And I know we talked tons on X, but spending this time with you here today, um, I'm glad we did the reveal when my hair is back and my beard is back because they were all gone from my cancer treatment. I obviously went through a lot, um, the most recent months. My kind of advice to really everybody in life: one, um, live in the present. I know we say that a lot. I think everybody knows that already. Like they need to live in the present. But if you just pause for a second and think about what do you think about every day, you're either thinking about the past and things that you've regretted, or you think about worrying about the future. Um, so try to live more in the present. Focus on every minute that you have because it's a blessing. The miracle is in us waking up every morning healthy. The miracle is not in sick people getting cured. It's really in us being healthy. Anything you do in life is hard. Trading is as hard as it can get. If you love it, if this is something that you really want to do, you need to focus on truly learning, spend the time to learn. Two, find traders that have the same mindset. find traders that know more than you and try to learn from them. And then 3, have the never give up mentality.
Love it.
Because if I didn't, and obviously I know now that I have it because of what I'm going through, and because of just running a damn marathon without training after chemo. So I know I have it. But when you're living your normal life, you need to know that you have it and believe that you have it. It took me a long time to get here. And the only way to fail is to give up. So just keep at it. Don't worry about the future too much, because there's one thing. Worrying about the future is not going to fix it. You can acknowledge what you're worried about in the future, but you need to live in the present and believe that whatever comes, whatever that future is, you're going to be able to handle it. Okay.
Wow, big stuff there. But thanks so much, TA Plot, once again. You can find him on X, TA Plot. Amazing.
Appreciate you.
Thanks so much. We're going to end it there. And thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you, brother. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.